Hello, lovely beings. Welcome to my channel. My name is Amanda Savignon. I'm a sexual wellness educator and coach. I talk about all things sex, love, intimacy, and encourage you to shine as your most authentic self. There may be a lot of stigma around some of the topics I discuss on my channel, so I do recommend coming with an open heart and mind. Let's jump right in. Do I have sex with my clients? No, I don't have sex with my clients, but I do know and appreciate practitioners who do. What I do, my work entails a variety of different services. I offer coaching sessions, which predominantly involves talking and helping clients map out a route to their personal sexuality goals, but can also include guiding them through self-pleasure practices, breathwork, mindful masturbation practices, orgasmic meditation, etc. I also offer tantric breath and bodywork services, which encourage syncing the mind, body, spirit, identifying, communicating likes and dislikes, and building confidence and familiarity with your body. Depending on the session and the client's level of comfort, the client may be fully dressed or fully nude. However, I am always fully dressed during sessions. I also offer workshops, instructional videos, and offer sex education pretty much anywhere it's welcome, be that in a school, event, or at a bachelorette party. So while my sessions and services may sometimes extend beyond fully clothed, talk-only sessions, I do play more of a role of an educator, coach, or guide, and for this reason, I don't identify as a somatic sex coach, but I am constantly looking to expand my knowledge, and I'm currently studying somatic sex education in order to have all the resources and all the knowledge, or as much as possible, in my toolbox. A sex educator or coach is a trained professional who helps people with sex, intimacy, and relationship issues. Sex coaches address problems such as sexless marriage, low libido, and sexual dysfunction, but also guide their clients to fully grasp their sexual potential through education, training, and communication. How do they differ from sex therapists? A sex therapist is a licensed mental health professional with an additional education in sexuality and sex topics. That can entail as few as 8 hours or hundreds of hours. It all depends on the sex therapist. A sex therapist typically explores a person's past and goes into their childhood to help them heal their past wounds through coping skills and self-care. Sex therapy is fully clothed, strict no-touching policy, talk-only therapy. A sex coach, on the other hand, looks at what's going on in the present moment and moves the clients forward towards their goal. A person's past experience will often be a part of the conversation for brief periods of time, since important information can be there that's needed to move the client forward. A sex coach helps clients with their sexual concerns and usually has completed a certification course involving hundreds of hours of education in human sexuality. Sex coaches may offer sessions in person, over the phone, or via video chat. During this time, the client and coach work together to define the problem, and the coach develops a coaching plan with steps to address the issue. At each subsequent meeting, the client talks with their sex coach about which parts of the plan they've accomplished or where they feel stuck. Sex coaches will sometimes offer homework to do outside of the session with partners or potential partners. For example, a sex coach may encourage a client who is interested in dating to talk to 5 people they're interested in. They may offer suggestions to couples, such as watching a video and practicing kinds of sensual touch they see in it. Another type of sex coach is a somatic sex coach. This includes somatic sex educators, somatic practitioners, sexological bodyworkers. There are different titles that fall under this category. These professionals combine body-based teaching and talk-based therapy. They take a more interactive approach by guiding their clients through exercises to help them feel more comfortable with their body, their sexuality, and intimacy. It begins the same way as talk-based coaching, where the coach gets a good idea of the client's goals and talks about their issues and strategies for improvement. But sometimes talking just isn't enough to learn new skills around sex and intimacy, in the same way that one would have a difficult time trying to learn piano, dance, or basketball from a book. Basically, while a talk-based therapist can provide you with information on different stroking techniques, a somatic practitioner can show you firsthand or allow you to practice on them while providing feedback along the way. Not all somatic practitioners allow physical application to their body, but some do. Another example of how sexological bodyworkers and somatic practitioners can help is by teaching people how to orgasm during childbirth and ease labor through orgasm, which is something that I'm personally very interested and excited to learn about. Somatic or body-based approaches to coaching and therapy are becoming much more prevalent as research continues to show their effectiveness. Now let's talk about sex surrogates and sexual healers. Surrogates are substitutes. In the same way that a surrogate mother stands in for someone else and is inseminated, goes through pregnancy and childbirth, then hands the baby off to the person they substituted for, sex surrogates are substitute sex partners. They typically work as part of a team with a sex therapist or sex coaches as part of a therapy for the client. The collaboration of sexologists and sex surrogates was popularized by William Masters and Virginia Johnson, two well-known sexologists from the late 1900s, who partnered up with sex surrogates to better help their patients. Sometimes a person may not feel confident or comfortable enough applying practices from talk-based therapy on their partner, or they might not have a partner. This is where sex surrogates come in. Sexual healers are similar to sex surrogates in that they are sex partners, but they view sex as a healing practice in addition to an act of intimacy. The services provided by these practitioners are incredibly beneficial for people who struggle socially due to illness, disability, or personalities that inhibit sexual expression, as well as survivors of sexual assault or trauma. Sexual healers use physical touch to clear psychological patterns where people who've experienced trauma tense up during sex. Somatic sex practitioners and sexological bodyworkers use touch to help with this too, but sex surrogates and sexual healers take it a step further as they're helping from the position of a sex partner. Stigma. Many people argue that because the primary focus of these practices are therapy and healing versus sexual gratification and pleasure, they're therefore not sex work. I find this interesting because while I see where they're coming from and what they're trying to get at, I also see connections within the logic they use to divide these groups. For instance, while our culture tends to associate pleasure with indulgence, leisure, something we should feel guilty about having a lot of, I associate pleasure with healing, as some scientific evidence will suggest, of the body and mind, holistic wellness, and therefore therapy. I also associate gratification with pleasure and reward, which then connect to healing and therapy. On the flip side, are there not therapeutic aspects to the more commonly known forms of sex work? There is so much stigma tied to any work involving sexuality, nudity, and kink, and there are so many complexities to sexuality as it involves mental, physical, emotional, spiritual aspects of us. Studying human sexuality has definitely encouraged me to think more critically, challenge what I was taught to believe, and hold everything up to the light for closer observation. I would love to hear your thoughts. Do you consider any of the practices I mentioned in this video to be sex work? Why or why not? Let me know in the comments below. I had so much fun making this video. This is the first of many videos to come. There's so much for us to explore, so make sure to subscribe and hit the bell to be notified when I post another juicy vid. And thanks for tuning in.